Welcome back, folks, to the house that never sleeps. This is the next day, the very next day after the video you just finished watching. I've had this video on charge. I've had this battery on charge for 24 hours now. It ain't been quite 24 hours. It's right at it. And you can see every cell is bubbling. If you watch them long enough, you'll see that every cell, there you can see them all going. And here's these three again. Another beautiful day, 78 degrees here today. In March, man, just incredible. Anyways, it's bubbling really well. I have it hooked up to this little dumb charger here, so it keeps charging and won't kick off, thinking the battery's full charge. That's a 6 volt or 12 volt charger, 1 amp continuous. It never kicks off, so the battery cannot fool that meter into thinking that, fool that charger into thinking it's full charge. Now what I want to do now, I'm going to unhook the charger here for a minute. The charger's unhooked. I'm going to unhook the hot wire from here, and we're just going to take a meter here over here where we can see it, where you can see it. We are on this 30 volt scale, this red scale on the bottom here. Okay, there's 5 volts, 10 volts, 15, and each volt in between. So on that 30 volt scale, we are showing 10, 11, just a little bit shy of 12 volts. Can you see that? Probably like 10.8 volts, so it's not up to par yet. I knew it wouldn't be this soon, only 24 hours later. So let me unhook all this and hook the battery back up for more energy consumption. And plug her back in here. And we should start to see bubbles once again shortly. This charger, like I say though, this is a dumb charger. It never kicks off. It charges all the time it's plugged in. And I can tell it's not hot, but it's really very warm. Now once this thing gets, almost up to where that battery needs to be, I can always tell because this charger runs a whole lot cooler. It doesn't work nearly as hard. Right now that battery is still showing a lot of resistance. And like I say, we're only getting, what did it say, 10, maybe 10.8 volts or so. It's not even up to 12 yet. I can check it with the charger hooked up. I already did that off video. And it was like 15 volts, almost 15 volts being hammered into it. But that's with the charger hooked up to it. That doesn't really mean anything. But by the charger getting fairly warm, it was warm last night and it's been warm today all day, and it still is very warm. I can tell it's working pretty hard, and I can tell that battery is still showing a lot of resistance. It's it's not liking that charge being forced down its throat. I mean, being jammed down her throat, whether she likes it or not, it's taking it. And there again, as I said before, you can see the bubbles now and then. I just plugged it back up, so it's going to be a little bit slower about starting back. And my camera battery is almost dead. It's turning yellow and flashing all kinds of crazy shit. I'm using this old camera, one of the old cameras, because I got 4 cameras. The other 3 are tied up on guitar projects. Anyways, I'm going to leave this alone. I'm going to let it charge another 24 hours on trickle charge. And I'll come back here again tomorrow. And by tomorrow, this charger shouldn't be nearly that hot. It's not hot, but it's warm. Shouldn't even be warm at all. It'll feel lukewarm to the touch. Once it drives the charge into that battery, and the charger doesn't have to work nearly as hard then. So that's an update for today. Like I said, it was only yesterday. I don't know when you will see these videos, but the video before this one where we rinsed that thing out and did the baking soda thing a couple of times and then put Epsom salt into it. That was all yesterday. It's been 24 hours ago, almost that exactly. And the battery's been on charge ever since, and it's still on charge. It's going to stay on charge for another 24 hours, and I'll come back tomorrow and check it again. That 10 volts that we saw there, 10.8 or whatever it was, is way more than that battery has read in the last 3 years. Like I say, I used it in this mower, and I used it every summer. It got to where it wouldn't start the mower, so I had to hook it up to that charger. It's got a booster on it to get this mower started, and then once it started, you know, I had to have a battery in the mower for the mower to perform, to be able to use the mower. And that's its only purpose, was just to be in there and supply just enough DC voltage, you know, to make everything run. And the lawnmower will charge. I checked that, and it does put out a charge when it's running. But that battery would just not take any charge. You know, you couldn't shove it down its throat like we're doing right now. It's definitely being shoved down its throat now, whether it likes it or not. It's taking charge. So I'll come back tomorrow and we'll see how well it took it. Maybe even the next day. I don't know. But I'll update you tomorrow in spite of what happens. Good or bad, I'll update you tomorrow on the battery restoration. So, I'll see you then. Cheers. No video is complete without the balls of Q. Yeah, doing okay, Q ball? You doing alright, baby? You're about to burn up on this 78-degree day, huh? Pulling all of her hair out, she is. Yes, she's a good baby. Let's go get some birdies. You ready to go get them birdies? Where's it? Listen. Hear them? Oh, one more thing here before we go. I'm going to be very quiet. See if the camera picks up this sizzling from the battery cells. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it's definitely taking it down the throat, like it or not. And there's Q, watching for her birds. I gotta fix that bike for my grandson or I'm gonna get my ass kicked. So I gotta go. Cheers, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow, same time, same station. Here we are, folks, day 3. Now, today makes 24 hours since you saw me rinse this battery out with the solutions that I showed you. Baking soda first, until you think it's clean. You saw what came out of the battery. I rinsed it twice, and I didn't really have enough solution to do a proper job the second time. But still, you saw what came out of it. Now you can see here now, all of the cells are bubbling. I've been watching it for a while. They're maybe not all going to bubble on video, but trust me, they all are bubbling, every one. It's been 48 hours now trickle charging this battery. I still have it on this tiny little charger here, 12 volt or 6 volt, 1 amp continuous charge. And by the way, it's not hot anymore. So that tells me the charger is not working nearly as hard as it was, because it's just barely as warm now compared to it was actually very warm yesterday. And that tells me the resistance of this battery is lesser now. This is good. Lower resistance means it's taking charge. A high resistance, you know, that's almost always a bad sign. Anyways, what I'm going to do, I'm going to unhook the battery charger. We'll just unhook that, and we'll unhook the positive lead to it. I've already got the negative lead hooked onto the negative end there with the charger. There's the positive. Now here again we're looking at this 30 amp scale right here, the red one on the bottom. So here you see it's 10 volts, 30 volt scale. There's 10 volts, there's 15, and each one of these marks in between resembles 1 volt. So when I touch this on here, you can see we're showing about 10, 11, just a little bit shy of 12 volts. Pretty much exactly what we saw yesterday. And that should read about 13 something actually. A good battery would read that. Anyways, it's a little bit low yet. And so what I'm going to do is, hold on, let me get set up here and I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to discharge it, run the battery down quite a bit, and then put it back on trickle charge again. But by running it down like I'm going to do, that helps it to kind of forget any memory that it may have had before. And it helps, you know, to get the cell started receiving the new charge and the new electrolytic fluid that we put in it, the battery's lifeblood. An electrolytic fluid transfusion. That's what we did to this battery. Anyways, hold on, let me hook up the shit and we'll start running it down some. Alright, if you look here very closely, let me get the meter over here where you can see it. We are on 11 volts exactly. See what I'm talking about? We are on exactly 11 volts. Now, hooked to this little battery, I have an 800 watt power inverter here. It's plugged directly to the battery. The only other thing hooked up is the ground wire there going to the charger, the ground wire to the meter, and a hot wire to the meter, and a hot wire to the power inverter. Hooked up to the inverter, I have this old piece of shit fan, which I'm going to turn on right now, and you can hear the inverter motor slowing down, plus an alarm going off. Switch that down on a lower speed. Here we can see we have dropped down from 11 volts to a tiny bit under 10 volts. Let's speed the fan back up. Yeah, there we have a little less than 10 volts. So I'm going to put it on the slower fan speed for now. And I'm just going to let that fan run. You can hear the inverter running and the alarm running on the inverter because the battery is really not putting out a whole hell of a lot. But that's okay. We want to run it down some. Get it, you know, down to about 6 volts actually. 6, 7, 8 volts maybe, and then plug it back up to trickle charge and let it charge another 24 to 48 hours. There you can see the fan running. That's on the slowest fan speed because it's really sucking that battery down. I don't know how many amps this fan draws. I wouldn't think it would be that many. I'd like to see it get down to about 6 volts. And then I'll put it back on trickle charge again with the little charger and leave it at least 24, probably 48 hours again. There you can still see some bubbling going on. That's not from charge. Any bubbling you see now is being from discharge. And like I say, the battery is low enough to make the alarm in this go off. That's a warning telling me that my power supply, which is that battery, is weak. Just an alarm to let me know it's getting weak. Still running the fan. So like I say, that's it today, folks. I'm just going to let it run until the fan don't run anymore, or until this meter gets down to about 6 volts. We're down to almost 9.5, it looks like now. 9.5 volts. Let it run until it gets down to about 6 volts or 5 volts, or until the fan even quits running. Well folks, here we are 5 days later, and the battery is on trickle charge right now. It's probably been on trickle charge for 72 to 84 to 96 hours total. If ever a battery failed restoration, it's going to be this one, because there's one cell that's really not reacting very well at all to the trickle charge or anything else you do to it. It might still have enough juice to crank this mower. We're going to find out today. However, what I'm about to show you right now is very dangerous. I'll explain it as we go along. But if you do this, what I'm about to show you here in a few minutes, if you do it, be very careful and do it exactly the way I'm going to show you, because you can create a spark and blow yourself up. You can make a terrible explosion doing this if you do it wrong. The way I'm going to show you exactly step for step, and don't change anything or do it any different, because like I say, it's very easy to create a spark and have a terrible explosion right in your face. So don't do it unless you know exactly how, or do it exactly the way I'm going to show you here now. Here you can see the battery is still charging. All cells are bubbling and have been bubbling, except this second one from the right here is not bubbling hardly any at all. Okay, I'm going to unhook the charger. Let's get it completely off of there. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see this meter very well or not in the camera. Probably not. And the battery is going to be dropping in voltage, so that's to be expected. We'd like to see 13.2 volts, but we are seeing 12.7, 12.6, 12.7, 12.7, and it's going to continue to drop like it always does. But here's what I was talking about, the dangerous part. Okay, you want to measure each cell individually. Start on the side where your negative post is, your negative terminal. Always, this is very important to do it like this. Start on the side of the negative terminal. Here's the positive terminal, here's the negative one. Start on the side of the negative one. Put your negative meter point into the electrolytic fluid. You should read about 2 volts, 2.1 or so, and that's what we're reading, 2.1. Take the meter's heads out, the meter points, and move them over to the next cell. There we have 2.16. What was this other? It's 2.16. 2.16, and move both connectors each time. 2.28. 2.08. 7, 6, that's that bad weak cell right there. 1.8, that's the weak cell. That's this cell right here, the one that's not bubbling. 1.8 volts. Here again, if I read the entire battery, we're down to 12.5 now. But yeah, just remember, if you do that, start on the negative terminal side of your battery, put your negative lead in, right in the electrolytic fluid, then your positive lead second into the next cell. Now you can come clear over to this cell and read it. There we're only reading 10.2 volts if you're reading through the electrolytic fluid. 10.22. I doubt you can see that on the camera. Maybe it just dropped to 10.21. So it is dropping, and then if I read off the terminals, it's what, 12.45 now, so it's still coming down, and it will continue to come down to about 12. Hopefully though, we're going to put it in this mower and see if it will crank the mower or not. Like I say, it's been 5 days, a lot of crap going on as usual. But I'm going to put the caps in this, put the battery in the mower, and we're going to try this puppy out. Hold on. Well, there she is, folks. She's in and hooked up. And like I say, that battery was shot. If there ever was a battery that fails this restoration, it's going to be that one. Like I say, this battery was in terrible shape, man. It really was bad. Would not crank this mower, none whatsoever, let alone start it. If it even cranks it, whether the mower starts or not, then we've made an incredible improvement. Hopefully the mower will start too. I'm just saying, if it does not, and it only cranks, at least, you know, we'll know we did good. So let's try it. Well, I think we proved our point, because it would never do that before. This thing hasn't been started for a year, remember. Yeah, I'm going to have to jump it to start it. But hey, it did crank. So we did make some headway, even with one bad cell. Hold on, I gotta jump this sick bitch. The only thing I did was jump the mower and started it and let it warm up. It finally started. Like I say, it hadn't been started for a year. You can see here, this is the same battery. I haven't changed them or anything. That's the same battery we've been working on this whole time. And it is in there, and it's charged as much as it's going to charge, which is way better than what we had before, because it wouldn't even charge up at all before. So here we go. You can hear how it cranks it now. There you can hear it yourself, folks. A battery that would not crank this mower under any circumstances. You could charge it all day long and it would not crank the mower over at all. Now it cranks it, even with the one bad cell. We did manage to get it to start. This battery, like I said, it was shot, man. It's what we finally say. It was 7 years old, I think. But, you know, that's way more than it would ever do. If the mower had been started before, and instead of setting all winter, this battery would have started it. And it starts it fine now. So, and once I get the charge back into it, it'll be even better. So anyways, there's the way I save batteries. I've got a great, big, really big battery over there. I'm going to do the very same thing to it. Just remember to get your solution mixture right. 10 ounces of baking soda and 12 ounces of Epsom salt. I think that's what it is. Yeah. 10 ounces of baking soda, 12 ounces of Epsom salt, and 1 gallon of water. Flush the battery out good. You saw the crap that came out of this battery. I should have flushed it out again, I know, but too late for that. Anyways, I hope this helps you. Like I say, it works 90-95% of the time on most batteries. Every now and then you get one like this that was just totally shot. And it did work, but it's still a weak battery. But it'll do for a mower. Save me 60 bucks or whatever they cost, 20 or whatever. I don't have to buy a new battery for it this year. That's the point. Cheers, thanks for watching. See you on Guitar Stuff again. Woo! Boogity bop.